Hey, hello. Um, Today I want to share with you something that most people don't talk about, but that has greatly enhanced my life. Uh, Everybody's actually, whether they know it or not, and that is the idea of death. Um, so, to take it very basic, people are afraid of death because they feel they're going to disappear, maybe, uh, or they feel there's an impermanence, or there's an ending, and all these things are valid, I would say. We don't know if after there's death there's anything other, but I will put forth to you this: that you are because of death. What do I mean? What did you eat for breakfast today? Okay, I had a bowl of cereal. Cereal comes from grains. The grains were once living. They die. I live. You can say the same thing about anything. The indigenous people were always um, had a sacred ceremony, a prayer when they killed an animal, because that life of that animal goes into them, right? They die so that the person eating it can live. You see, this is so connected. It's undeniable. So then we come down to ourselves, um, and I would say that lots of people, myself included, at least most of my life anyway, have been living separately from their life. What does that mean? Well, it becomes the I and the you, us and them. Um, there's a separation between what is and what you think you are. Okay, so um, we are, we identify, we like an identity, a persona, from learning to relate to different aspects of our self. For example, um, I am a man. Okay, so by identifying as a man, I have a cultural and personal um, opinion about what it is to be a man. So it's a thought process. Okay, so my identity based upon the thoughts I have, the thoughts, okay, just the thoughts which are in my head. They're not out there in the world. My idea of being a compassionate man and supporting other people, I didn't make that up. It came to me from outside, right? So, but I have taken it into my person. That same thing that's outside can go into anybody, but they don't necessarily bring it in as part of their persona, right? Their identity. Who they identify with. So, are you a doctor? Then you identify with this. If you're a race car driver, if you're a garbage man, a father, a son, whatever it is, all these things is what you make into your person. All the fears, all these things. Now, this bit of you, when you die, this will most likely just be gone, because you don't have a brain to think. The brain will rot. So I recently heard a very wise teacher say, um, think about, contemplate the idea is that I love myself, or I hate myself for that matter. Um, so what is the I, and what is the self, right? So I love myself, the self that I've created, right? So that's the mind creation. But what about the I? What is that I? I love, I hate myself. So I can't tell you what it is. You have to find it yourself. That's one of the great journeys of life. Um, Now, getting back to the end of life, which we call death, I have a hard time separating things anymore like this, because, as I said, a big part of the suffering that we have is that we're separating ourselves from that which is. You can call it oneness. Now, it's very easy to say and accept, and I can easily do it myself, that we are separate from, okay, you know, this blade of grass over here. Okay, over here. Can you see it? Grass, come here. I can't see it. I don't want to pick it. This dead leaf and I are not the same thing. Yet, we both come from the same place. We both come from the earth. We're made of this carbon and oxygen and hydrogen and nitrogen and whatever else is in there. Which came from the air, which I breathe, the water, which I drink, from the earth, which made the plant, which I eat plants. This and I are, we are life. This is dead life. I am living life. This death here will nourish other life. You see? So the life and death thing, they're not separate. They appear to be, but they are not separate. They are the same thing. Now, this idea of things, of individuals, of me and you, is a perception, and not a false one, but not an ultimate one. That you and I are different. Yes, we can say we are different, and that's no problem. But we can also say we are the same. What am I? I'm a human being. You're a human being. There we go. It's the same. I am alive, and you're alive. We are life. Just like the moss on these rocks, and the leaves on the trees, and the trees themselves, all are life. So I am not separate from that perspective. So the death and the life are connected in the very same way. You cannot have life without death. You cannot have death without life. They are connected and cannot be disconnected. You can't have only life, you cannot have only death. They will exist together for always. So with that in mind, the passing of things, the impermanence of things, the changing of things, like for example, if I lose my hand in an accident, right? No hand. The hand is no more. But all that the hand has done and given to me through my life continues through me. It made experiences that helped create me. Even though that is gone, the hand physically is gone, the memory is there, and the results of it are there, and they will continue to be there. Why? I am not only the dead things I eat, but I am also the experiences I have had. So let's see, the light isn't too good here. Let's see what we can do about that. So don't fear the death. The death is part of living. The closer you come to death, the more you will appreciate living, if you're open to it, if you understand it. Death is a great teacher. He'll come, he'll knock on your door, and you have to open up. You have no choice. So invite him in. Thank him for what he's given to you, and you'll cry with the sorrow of leaving, but at the same time you will be shown the joy of celebrating life. If nothing mattered, you wouldn't. Who would care if you died, or if you wouldn't care if you died if nothing was important to you. It is through the importance of living. It is through connections we have that make things important, the relationships we have. So these things, we can mourn them when they leave, but the mourning and the celebration are two sides of the same coin. The living and the dead, two sides of the same thing. So yes, if you experience death in the family, with friends, okay, you have your mourning time, do that, but don't forget to balance it with the celebration of knowing that which you have lost and how it has affected you, and to honor that through your life. Okay, so this is a very deep subject, and we can go on more than 10 minutes, but that's enough for now. Peace.